Hey, this is Paul from GShock, and today I'm reviewing the GShock GW-8200TPF 1, also known as the Poison Dart Frogman. And straight away, this is a Marmite watch. People either love it or absolutely hate it. In the words of Simon Cowell, I don't like it, I love it. This watch sits in the Master of G Frogman line, so it's a proper dive-focused G-Shock, ISO 200 meters, tough solar powered, and built for deep sea diving, not desk diving. Although, let's be honest, I'll mostly be desk diving with mine. But if ever I find myself 200 meters below the ocean surface, at least I know my watch will be fine. This is a special edition, not a numbered limited edition, and that's an important difference. Limited editions usually say how many were made, though not always, and special editions don't. At the time of filming, this retails for £619. Design-wise, we've got a fluorescent green stripes cutting through a deep black bezel and strap. It's loud, high contrast, and clearly inspired by the Poison Dart Frog. The bezel and strap uses spray-coated finish, which gives it a textured, organic feel rather than a smooth, polished one, though it is a shiny finish rather than matte. And on the case back, you've got the signature Frogman diving frog, which instantly ties it back to the Frogman lineage. The design isn't subtle, and that's exactly why opinions are so split. Size-wise, it comes in at 52mm in length, by 50.3mm across, by 18mm in height. And despite that, it weighs just 84 grams. For a watch of this size, that's surprisingly light, and that's thanks to the titanium construction. The bezel itself is black ion-plated titanium. The construction is classic Frogman, the asymmetrical case, the screw-down case back, and that familiar chunky profile. The buttons are black, which is a really nice touch, and they're also partially protected by the bezel. They're easy enough to press, although there is a slight squeak from the outer bezel, and this may ease up as the watch wears in. On the wrist, it wears extremely well. It feels much lighter than you'd expect. I've worn it for a full day, and it's genuinely comfortable. The strap is soft and flexible, and the watch sits securely on the wrist. The asymmetrical case really helps a lot here, especially if you move your wrist a lot. It also has a strap keeper that actually keeps the strap in place, unlike the stainless steel keepers on models like the GW-1000 Mudmaster, which is completely and utterly useless. Feature-wise, this is exactly what you'd expect from a Frogman. You get dive time tracking, surface interval measurement, tide graph, moon data, and ISO rated 200 meter water resistant. Alongside that, you get all the usual GShock basics, world time, stopwatch, timer, and alarms. Tough solar keeps the watch charged, and the super illuminated backlight is bright and easy to read. On the main time screen, you can toggle between date and world time. One thing worth mentioning, this model doesn't support the UK date format. It didn't win the UK date format lottery with Casio, unfortunately. The presence of that feature seems completely random. Something a few of you asked me to comment on in the reviews is the beep. And honestly, this isn't the loudest. That's largely down to the titanium case. The metal cases tend to mute the sound compared to resin models. If you compare it to something like the newly released GW-5600, there's a noticeable drop in volume. It's not terrible, but it's not the best either. So if a loud alarm is important to you, this probably isn't the ideal choice. One concern that I do want to mention with this watch, and that's around the finish of the strap and bezel. That textured, spray-coated look is brilliant right now, but the big question is longevity. Will it age well? Will the finish hold up, or will it start to peel and wear unevenly? I've owned more than a few G-Shocks where the lacquer finishes have eventually peeled, and it looks shockingly bad. But right now, it looks fantastic. It's £619, this sits firmly in the premium G-Shock territory. You're paying for the Frogman name, titanium materials, that themed design, and the genuine dive capability. It's not cheap, but it also doesn't feel particularly overpriced for a pro-level diving watch, especially if the design speaks to you. This is probably one of those watches where it makes more sense emotionally than logically, unless of course you're using it for professional diving. It's bold, it's different, and it has a real personality. If you want a Frogman that stands out and doesn't play it safe, this one definitely delivers. If you found this review helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more G-Shock content, and let me know in the comments whether you love this one or absolutely hate it. This has been Paul from GShocker. Until the next one.